All right, everybody, we're going to be making this video on NFTs and what you should be looking for, what you should be avoiding in the NFT space, because this place is toxic. This is a crazy place right now. There's a lot of bad actors, and I'm going to be going over exactly what you need to be looking for to avoid these people, because these people are everywhere. There is ruggers, there's serial ruggers, there's market manipulators, there's all kinds of scary stuff out there that you have to be aware of. So I'm going to educate you guys a little bit on that. This is for the beginner. This is for the intermediate. This is for the advanced. This video is literally for everybody. So if you're any level of experience, I'm going to be covering some very salient topics. So stay tuned. To start this video off, I want to kind of explain what an NFT is to the beginners, because this matters. I'm going to do this really quick, because I know there's intermediates and whatnot in here who are looking for the juicy bits. So I'm going to get to the juicy bits in a moment. NFT is a JPEG. It is a picture. And then along with a picture, we have some metadata. And metadata is basically just information behind the picture. So if I have a Warsome Wizard, which is my NFT project, very successful. If you want to go check it out, it's on HBAR. We just launched our Gen 2. With a Warsome Wizard, you have the picture, which is generative art, which means that there's like 100 different hats, 100 different eyes, 100 different pieces of clothing, 100 different wands, whatever. And those get mixed up. And we mix those up 4,200 times. Oh, Lord, what happened? And those get mixed up 4,200 times. And then we had all these different wizards. But along with those, we have metadata. And the metadata is very important. So the metadata is... say our wizard had a purple hat. The metadata would say hat, purple, eyes, brown, blah, blah, blah. So that's how we used it. There's a million different ways you can use metadata when it comes to NFTs. So that's just one use case. Yeah. Why are people buying NFTs, you might be wondering? Because, guys, I understand there are a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people in real life who are confused about NFTs. They scoff at NFTs. They say, why are these valuable? Why do people ever buy a JPEG? They are more than just a JPEG. Like I said, there's a JPEG and then there's data. But not only that, because that's pretty useless in itself all alone, there's also projects that offer what is called utility. And some people claim things are utility when they're really not. It's all relative and opinion based. But utility is really what's going to value or give value to your consumers. So if I make an NFT project, I make a collection, like I said, a 4,200, I'll have a list of different utilities or benefits that I'm going to be giving to the people who own my NFT. Good examples of this I can give you based on my project was our alpha chat. So essentially, if you come into Warsome Wizard, you buy a wizard, you get access to this chat where we give exclusive information from our NFT traders. We had BC Trades, actually, a very good trader. He actually made calls and generated, I think it was around 5,000 USD based on if he was to buy one of each call he made. And that was before we even launched the project. This was pre-mint, $5,000 pre-mint. A very good example of something you can look for when you're trying to find a good project. Now, there's lots and lots of utility. I can go on about utility all day, but I'm not going to waste your time. We're going to get into who is malicious out here. What are we looking for when we're looking at these NFT projects that are going to scam you, that are going to rob you, that are going to take your money and run? And the first perfect example that I can make here is, of course, the ruggers. This is a very salient issue in NFTs in all spaces. We're talking Ethereum, we're talking ADA, we're talking Aptos, HBAR, all Solana, everything. Every space has this problem where we have ruggers. And you're probably wondering, if you're new to NFTs, what the hell is a rugger? And a rugger is somebody who rugs a project, which essentially means they make these promises. They say, here's what I'm going to offer you guys. Here's my JPEGs. Please buy them. Everybody buys them. They get the money in their treasury, and then they book it. They run away with all the money. And that's just what happens. So then the community is still left with the JPEGs. They can decide where that goes, but most of the time people panic and the value of that NFT drops. So essentially they took everybody's money and then lost hope. The whole community lost hope, and then the price came down. And I guess one thing I should mention about NFTs is the price is determined, because it's for the noobs. The price is determined based on the community. If the one community member says, "Oh, this NFT is worth $1," that NFT is worth $1. The lowest that somebody is listing their NFT for is what it's worth at that moment, until somebody buys it, and then it goes up to the next lowest. So if one person says it's worth $1, the next person says 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'd buy the $1, and then it'd be worth $2. You buy the $2, it'd be worth 3, and maybe after 5, it's $100. So if you buy all 5 of those, it'd go up to 100. Essentially, you get this panic. And everybody starts listing lower and lower and lower. And that's just what happens. So we have these ruggers who are running away. An easy way to identify a rugger is obviously looking at things like their white paper, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm going to go into more detail later, but 3 points I have here on ruggers. So number 1 is an alias. If they're under an alias and they are not doxed, if the rugger or if the creator of your project does not show their face, if the creator of their project hides behind a profile picture, hides behind a username, etc., you want as much of that information as you can. As a creator, you can see my face. You know exactly what it looks like. So if I rugged you, I'm sure you could find me eventually. You know what I mean? So that is a very, obviously, important aspect to identify who's going to be honest. Because if you can see my face, you can assume, okay, this guy has a certain level of image to uphold, per se. So seeing my face allows you to build a little bit more trust with me. It's not guaranteed, but it's definitely a building block in that aspect. The second bit is the white paper. So the white paper, when it comes to NFTs, is a paper that's going to tell you everything you need to know about that NFT. So it's going to say how big the supply is. It's going to say how much it costs. It's going to say the utility that's offered. And when it comes to the utility, if the utility is very vague, if it says, oh, we might do this, there's a potential for this to happen, if it's very loose, you're probably looking at somebody who wants to dodge any legal obligations that might come to them down the road if they were to get investigated, per se. So if the utility is more specific, we are going to deliver this in Q1, we're going to deliver this in Q2, we're going to deliver this in Q3. It's a little bit more specific. It doesn't have to be down to the date, because as a creator, I would know best that sometimes things happen. Sometimes you can't deliver on the date. But when you have the more specific outline of your white paper, you can assume that these people have a little bit more invested in it. So that's something to look for. If the white paper is too loose sounding, I would avoid it. And the last point, and I am going to get into way more points at the end of this video, like I said, but the last point I want to make is if it is a derivative project, you probably see monkeys everywhere, right? Because we have the Bored Ape Yacht Club, the #1 NFT project, the most successful one, the NFT project you saw as celebrity profile pictures, etc. Those derivatives are usually just people, and there's another point I'm going to make about this later. Those are just people who see, oh, this is working. They have a very business mindset. They say, this is working. I'm going to copy this and hopefully make some money. And with a mindset like that, you don't want a creator who has a mindset like that. I mean, it always is good to have a creator who has a business mindset. But when it comes to like, oh, this is working, I'm not going to try anything new, I'm not going to innovate, I'm just going to do what works and then take my money and get out of here. That's the mindset that I see when people make derivative projects. Because a point I'm going to make later, and I may as well make it now, is passion. You want passion from your creators. There's one thing I really valued from my project with Noti Crypto, BC Trades, and our artist Shred guy was everybody in this group, everybody in our company has passion. We would argue amongst ourselves, and that in itself shows that we had passion in the project. We would, the artist would say, oh, I want to do it this way. And he said, maybe we should do it this way. Maybe we should do it this way. Maybe we should run our marketing campaign this way. No, we should do it this way because this will be cooler. This will be more fun. People had passion in our project, and we created something brand new. Nobody was doing wizards, and we valued that. So that was something really important that you should look for in a project, is the passion. And so now I'm going to point out a very, very big issue, and it's when people are serial rugging. When people have the ability to hide behind an alias and make projects, because once you make a project, you realize that this could be a very easy thing to do. Because anybody can do it. And if you know the kind of outline of how to do it, it's a very easy process. Once you have it worked out in your brain of all the things you need. I need a launch pad, I need art, I need blah, 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 and the list goes on. It is a very easy process. When you're making a complicated project with passion in it, with utility that you're really serious about, it can be a more complicated process. With Wars and Wizards, we had this process of just generating the art. We wound up developing our own software because we had passion, but there is software out there. You can make an easy art generation and do that. You can go find the easiest launch pad to get on. You can find the easiest blah, blah, blah. You can do all the easy path stuff and get projects out like bam, 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 bam. You can get so many projects out in a very short amount of time if you have the connections, if you have the, if you are hiding behind an alias. Because let's say one alias gets found out, and then they find wallet connections to all your other aliases. Oh no, they found your aliases. Time to make a new alias. Who cares? These serial ruggers have nothing to lose when it comes to making multiple projects. So this is a very salient issue. When you're in these spaces, it is very wise to keep this in mind, that there are people who probably have 30 projects that are hiding behind their aliases. And maybe they even have a high level of influence behind their aliases. So even the most respected people in the space could be behind the scenes making all these projects. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so good to be able to see the faces of the creators. It's such a big deal, because this is something that's definitely happening. If you knew you could just print money, although immoral, and you have low morals, and you are doing this is a very possible thing you can do. So you can become a serial rugger, as I like to call them. So definitely something to look out for in the NFT space. Guys, there are good projects out there. You just have to know how to find them. And that's what I'm going to go into after this last point I want to make. And these guys are the ones that make me the most upset. Of course, the market manipulators. And I'm not talking general market manipulators. I'm talking influencer market manipulators. People who have a high level of influence, generally behind some kind of alias, no docs. And what they are doing, sometimes they're docs. We have big celebrities doing this, obviously. You're probably familiar with a lot of the things happening with crypto. And in crypto, we have these people who buy a bunch of a coin. They buy it when it's low. They go to their social media platform, of which they're big at. They say, guys, buy this coin. Very valuable. The price is going to go up significantly. And what happens? Well, it does. It goes up because all of their followers, all of their committed followers buy into this coin, and then the price goes up. But what happens when it goes up? Well, the person who put them up to buying it dumps. They sell. And when they sell, that price goes back down, and they essentially rob all their followers. And that happens in the NFT community, and it's really sad. We see it. I see it a lot. But there's a lot of people who don't understand. They don't have the education to know. And even when confronted with this, they have a connection with this influencer that they don't want to let go. So this is a really salient issue that I'm really starting to catch on to, and I really notice, and it's really disturbing. It honestly is really disturbing, and I really want to educate you guys on this. We have these influencers who will either be given NFTs by these projects. So a project creator will come to an influencer. They'll say, I want you to make a post about my project. Positive one. Here is 10 free NFTs from the project. They say, okay. So they go, hey guys, look at this new promising NFT, when it might not be promising at all, might have zero utility, might have zero longevity, etc., etc. And then their influencers buy it up. And beforehand, before they told their followers to buy this project, what did they do? They listed all 10 of those NFTs for a profit. And of course, if they're given these NFTs as payment, they're obviously going to have made money. They're obviously going to make like a lot of profit because they started at zero, right? So the purpose of me telling you this is because I've seen this firsthand, where a influencer will even not be gifted these things. Maybe this is their full-time gig, is manipulating their followers. And what they do is they'll go and they'll buy a project. They'll buy up the floor, as they call it. The floor is the lowest priced NFTs, which have the most liquidity. These have the highest liquidity. They sell the easiest. So what happens is they go and they buy up, say, the bottom 20, which inevitably will increase the floor price, which increases the value of the NFTs in total. And then they relist at the floor price there. So say there's 10 NFTs at 1,000, and then the 11th NFT is at 2,000. They would buy those 10 at 1,000, and then the floor is now 2,000 because the next The next lowest is 2,000. So they would relist at 2,000 all those NFTs, and they would essentially double their money, but they need somebody to buy it first. So what do? They go to their followers. They say, hey guys, this is a promising project. Go buy it. And then their followers go and they buy all 10 of those NFTs that they essentially just bought and resold to their followers. When obviously, if they didn't do that, their followers would have been able to get in at 1,000. But now they'll have to get in at 2,000. You see what I'm saying? So they essentially robbed. These influencer manipulators are doing this to rob their followers. Very immoral. Very immoral. Very immoral. So guys, yeah, that is the last point I'm going to make on the... there's a lot more people out there who are actually doing many other immoral acts that are manipulative in many other ways. These are the 3 I want to point out in this video. And now I'm going to tell you how you can find the diamonds in the rough, how you can find the good projects. And number one on my list here is doxing. The face, very important thing. If you can see the face, the person has a lot more obligation. They have a lot more to uphold. So that is number one. I've already really explained this, so I'm not going to go too much in depth with that. The other thing is in the white paper, you should be looking for plans that relate to longevity. So you want plans in the white paper that are going to make the project profitable in the long term, not only for the consumer, but for the creator. The incentive for the creator to continue to create is to profit more. This is business. I don't know how else you are going to look at it. Some people might be doing this out of passion, but those people already have money. The people who don't have money are doing it as a business, right? And ultimately, there could be ulterior motives, of course, like I want to make a good brand. I want to promote this blockchain. I want to do this, etc., which is something that the Wars and Wizards team, my team, values a lot. But at the end of the day, it is business. Number one priority is how can I build this brand to profit both my consumers and myself? That is what this is all about. So if there is no plans for the team to continue to profit, then the team probably is going to stop being productive, and the NFT is probably not going to do very well. Because if the team gives up on it, everybody gives up on it. So in the white paper, you should look for things that are going to survive the long game. It's going to be long. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. A good project that I can point out here is a Solana project called DegenFatCats, which BC Trades actually pointed out to me. Very cool project, what they did. And this is done a lot in the NFT space. Linking your NFTs to a game space, which is more or less a casino, but for legal reasons, it is a game. But we have things like coin flip and whatnot, where you're basically gambling. And essentially what happens is we have a lot of people who enjoy this. They get the coin flip, they double their soul, whatever, they double their money. And there's lots and lots of games that this DegenFatCats NFT has linked their NFT to. So essentially all the profits gained from this casino are given back to users, who are given back to consumers. So anybody who owns one of these DegenFatCats gets a percentage share, rev share, from this casino game or multiple casino games, which is very cool because not only they're also incentivizing their users to play this game through giveaways, etc., but they're also pulling users from outside and bringing money in, which means that there is constant profits not only given to the consumers, but there's also profits given to the creators, which is really cool. I have no idea how this project is doing now. I haven't kept up, I have to be honest, but very cool idea to keep things rolling. Of course, we're in a little bit of a recession now. Go check out my last video. I went and talked about the recession and coins that are really going to survive this recession. I think it's a really salient topic that we have to be talking about. We have to take seriously because this is seriously an issue. But I'm not sure how that project's doing. We are in a recession, so I wouldn't blame them if things went off the rails. But very cool concept. You're not only just trying to take more money from your consumers, but you're also giving consumers money from the outside world, which is amazing, and it builds longevity in the project. So looking for cool things like that that are going to continue to build profit and revenue for the team and the consumers is huge. My next point, obviously, the background and experience of the team. If there is background experience of the team and they know what they're doing, it doesn't matter if they're in another industry, or if being doxed is another thing that I would say for background experience. Obviously on my team I have Noti Crypto, who has a image to uphold. Of course, he has his face out there, and he has his own brand which he wants to thrive, and that is not going to thrive if you're doing rugs and all that kind of stuff. So his background really supports us. And of course, if we had, we also have BC Trades. BC Trades has a very big background in trading NFTs. That's why our alpha chat has done so well. So looking at these people's backgrounds is very, very salient, and it's what drives good projects, because these people know what is going on. These people know what is up. So these are the projects that you want to follow. Of course, passion is another big thing. I explained that. Making specific promises on the white paper, another big thing. One thing you really want to avoid in this space is circular utility. Now, we talked about DegenFatCats and how it was such a cool utility that brought money from outside in, not just looking inwards to grab more money out of your consumers, right? So circular utility is the opposite of that. Circular utility, I guess I can pull up DegenFatCats here. Let me just, so you guys can see. But circular utility is a utility that just builds on nothing. It is a utility that simply incentivizes your consumers to buy more from you, or that, I'll actually give you a specific example. So it's the floor actually has gone up. It is at 20.5 Sol. Of course, Sol has gone down, but I think I bought into this project when it was at 15. So yeah, this is doing really well now. That is really cool to see. But anyways, yeah, so it just goes to show you how this good sort of NFT tokenomics can affect a project's well-being. But anyways, guys, yeah, that's really cool. Circular utility, I've seen some things where a project will have their NFT and then they mint like a land kind of thing, like some metaverse stuff. And then within the land, I think they also had a coin, and they used the coin to buy things to put in their little houses in this metaverse. And then the houses and things in the houses generated more of their coin. So it was very circular. It was kind of like cookie clicker in a way, where you just get more of their coin to buy more things to get more of their coin. There was no purpose to the coin other than to use it to get more of the coin. So it's circular. You see what I'm saying? You want to avoid that. That is going nowhere. Stuff like this, DegenFatCats, which is doing amazing right now, is a very good example of good utility. I really promote that kind of utility. And that's something we do really well in Warsome Wizards, which is amazing. We are not only bringing money in from the outside, but because HBAR, the blockchain that we have created on, is so small, we have also brought consumers in to HBAR and got eyes on consumers. So we're actually launching a new utility pretty soon, which is Alpha World, which is going to have many different kinds of alpha. So we're going to be talking about XRP, XLM, Quant, ADA, etc., etc. We're going to be talking about all the spaces as well as their NFT counterparts, their NFT shadow, the other side of them. So we're going to be talking about the coin, the tokenomics of the actual coin. Then we're going to be talking about the NFTs themselves. I know that was a mouthful. But yeah, so we are focusing on both bringing money in and bringing consumers in, which is huge, because otherwise we're, again, looking inside. We're not trying to grow the space. We're looking just to grab money from the people who are already here. And that is not beneficial to anybody but the creator. And as a creator, we know that has no life expectancy, no longevity compared to a project that is aiming to reach out and pull in. So that is a really, really, really good way to run a project. And that's what you guys should be looking for. That is really important. All right, guys, now I want to give you one last bit of advice here before we end this video off, because I'm trying to make this as quick as possible. I know a lot of people in social media have short attention span, so I want to appease to everybody, or as many people as I can, and give as much information as I can out. The number one thing that is growing, I think, now in the launchpad space, and a launchpad is a place where we have creators going to actually put their NFT on the blockchain. And I use the word blockchain loosely, like I said, because obviously Hedera, the chain I'm working on, isn't really a blockchain. It's its own thing. They use their own system. So aside from the point, this is how creators get their NFT onto the chain. Okay, so every creator needs some kind of a launchpad. And some launchpads are adopting this doxing feature where before they'll allow a project to get onto their launchpad or even onto their marketplace where you can buy and sell the NFT, because that's really important for creators. If you can't buy or sell, your NFT's not going anywhere. You need to dox. You need to show their face. You need to tell them your name. That is really important because it creates, it deters ruggers. And so if your project is on a launchpad or a marketplace that incentivizes doxing or forces a dox, you can be more assured that they are not going to be a rug. Right, guys, so that is my rant for today. I hope you guys learned something. I'm going to be making a lot more videos. I'm going to try and do this a lot more frequently because I know there's a lot that needs to be said. I've been in the space long enough where I've seen a lot of the issues, and I also see a lot of the promising aspects of the space and a lot of promising coins. And with deep research, I've realized what coins are truly going to survive. Go check out my last video. It was on the recession and who's going to survive, as well as my quant video that I made. I think it's my first video back. I had a clean wipe on my YouTube channel. So it is my first video, and it was not really my first video, but first video back. It goes over quant and why quant is so valuable. If you guys have a bias on quant and think it's bad, go to the comments of that video. Tell me why, because I'd love to give you my rebuttal, because quant is a very valuable token, and it is going to go really far. So anyways, guys, yeah, that's my rant. I'll see you in the next one.